Merhaba. It's such a pleasure to be in one of my favorite cities in the world. Thank you for hosting. Before I go any further, I'm just going to put another plug for Jeff's book, Big Mind, where he has a chapter on the role of universities, and he says in that book, much better than what I can do in terms of what needs to happen with universities. But I'm thinking about where would Talia go to university? And what would university be like for you? Would it be a tedious experience, or would it be something that's actually transformative and that takes you from already being a change maker to the next level, to the next level, to the next level? And I would argue that it probably won't if you go to most universities. And this is a point that was stated by Bill Drayton in a debate, the Oxford Union debate, which happened about a month ago. I urge you to watch it. It's on YouTube. Oxford Union School Center, and there's this wonderful debate where Bill Drayton, who founded an organization that we have to talk about called Ashoka U, which was designed to get universities to incorporate and move towards social innovation. Turns out Bill Drayton doesn't believe that universities are where it's at anymore. In fact, he calls universities a train wreck in that debate. He's lost all faith. And I will say that in the Canadian experience, it largely mirrors what he's saying. Universities are driven by disciplinary discipline. So professional accreditation bodies, the need to publish in discipline-specific journals, tenure and promotion practices, faculty stovepipes, they're all barriers to social innovation. They prevent the kinds of mixing and mingling and ecotone that Jeff talked about. But there are some exceptions. So the next Ashoka U Exchange in February will be held at a place called the University of California at San Diego, UCSD, where their entire purpose, at least officially, is about encouraging change-making, building change makers. There are other bright lights. Glasgow Caledonian is all about the common good. They explicitly talk about social innovation. Social impact is what University of Northampton talks about. The College of the Atlantic, all about human ecology. In the UK, there's a countrywide strategy focused on widening participation, which we don't have in Canada, but we ought to. And this is basically saying there are a lot of people who miss the university experience because of the barriers that we set. And you look at a University of Winchester, for example, who have wonderful ways of incorporating and involving people who, for whom the university experience would escape them. So what do the next 10 years look like? The next 10 years, mercifully, there's a very strong link between what they say we need for 21st century skills, experiential learning, community-embedded learning, civic literacy, very well aligned with social innovation. So abstractly, that's good news. But also, we need to do things like, and the universities that will thrive, there are universities that have large endowments that'll do just fine. But for the vast majority, some will fall off a cliff because students are saying, we want value for our money, and many of them are suing their universities in the US and the UK in particular. And donors are saying, you need to do a better job. So donors like the McConnell Foundation in Canada are saying we need to recode the operating systems of universities, and they started a program called Recode. The biggest challenge, though, in Canada, and this is what may save the university, is what we call decolonization. So Canada is on Indigenous land and exists by way of treaties with Indigenous peoples. Those Indigenous peoples have largely been excluded from the experience of universities. And now they're saying, you need to decolonize the institution, and that doesn't just mean participating and including us, it means changing the very way you do your business. And so for the first time, we're actually turning the scope back on what is a university, what is learning, how do we do it in a way that is actually liberating, that is innovative, that incorporates enterprising and activist, that is free and open. This is our biggest challenge in Canada, and I think it may save the university.